A video of a British soldier shouting abuse at hooded Iraqi detainees has been played at a public inquiry into the death of one of the prisoners. Well, in the film, Corporal Donald Payne, formerly of the Queen's Lancashire Regiment, is seen swearing at the Iraqis as they are forced to maintain what's called the stress position. The inquiry is looking into the death of Baha Musa. The hotel receptionist has suffered 93 separate injuries when he died while in the custody of British soldiers in Basra in 2003. Sky's Foreign Affairs editor Tim Marshall is here with us. Most people will find that video very disturbing, Tim. Talk us through what's going on in it.
I think a lot of people will be very disturbed, and I think a lot of people will think, well, of course that sort of thing has happened in the past, and we can talk about the legality of it in a moment. If we run the video again, what you see is firstly the hooding, which has been banned for many years.
So, was it banned then?
It was banned then,
right.
Yes. Once people have been arrested and escorted to a place where they can be questioned, then they should not be hooded.
Okay.
They certainly should not be put in stress positions. If you see the man, well, what the corporal is doing in all these instances is saying, get back into the position you see on the left there. Mm-hmm. Now imagine how painful that becomes after about 10 minutes when you're forced, well, and less perhaps, but it's certainly after about 10 minutes that becomes incredibly painful, especially on the backs of the thighs, also on the lower legs, and also on the back. And your whole body is in pain after a while. And at the same time you're hooded and you're being shouted at. All of these things, not so clear on the shouting, are illegal. Now, the context of this is that these men were thought to be possibly behind some of the bombings that were killing British troops. Now, when you put this into the context of a war situation, British soldiers that have lost comrades, they then get very angry, and some of them clearly have behaved like that. But it is illegal. It's illegal for on a number of counts. Article 3, European Convention on Human Rights. It's also illegal because the British Army banned it in 1972. We've been going back through the archives on this, and the Heath inquiry, Edward Heath, then Prime Minister, had an inquiry into British interrogation methods in Northern Ireland, where all that stuff was used, and white noise, where you just blast noise at people, persistent light, so sleep deprivation, cold cells, and that sort of stress position. And all these things were then banned by the British military in 1972. Now, do most people who know how the real world works think that there have not been examples of this over the past 40 years nearly? I think most of us know that it must have happened in several examples, several instances. What you have here, though, is it captured on video. And you're right, I think a lot of people will be quite shocked by that, but there'll also be a lot of people who think, A, it's not so bad, and B, it must have happened because you've got to put it into the context. But people like Amnesty International are very clear, as far as they're concerned, that's torture.
Right, okay. I mean, this is happening, as we said, into inquiry into the death of Baha Musa in British military custody. Nobody has, I guess, been brought to account for it, although there's been an inquiry.
No, well, Corporal Payne has been discharged from the army, and from memory, I believe he did. He may have been convicted of a year imprisonment. He was court-martialed, and I think he got a year inside, and then he was discharged from the army. But what this inquiry is about, it's not just about the man you see screaming at Baha Musa there. This is the former Corporal Payne arriving at court. It's not about just what he did, screaming at Baha Musa. We think is in that video, we're not sure yet. And Baha Musa then subsequently was violently attacked. He died either from asphyxia and a beating, or from just one or the other. It's never been quite determined how he died. The inquiry is about the 1972 regulations. You don't do that anymore. How much was it used after that? Maybe the orders didn't come from the top, maybe they did come from the top. Did anybody in the cabinet know during the Iraq War that this type of thing went on at least one occasion? Did it go on other occasions? What was the chain of command? So you go back to 1972, you look at the interrogations, you look at where they fall foul of the law, and then you look at the chain of command of who knew what when, and that's why it's going to be a 2-year inquiry. because it's not as simple as looking at what that corporal did. They're going to try and look at the whole sort of ethos of the military. There'll be people in the military who are absolutely against that. You will find one or two people in the military that say, you know, it's really not so bad. I mean, I can hear the emails pouring in now. I'm just trying to explain that in a war context, if you really think that's not going to happen, then you're very naive.
Tim Marshall, thank you. Thank you.